Hi everybody, and this is Jackie from Jacqueline Ann Designs, and I wanted to come on and show you. I'm going to be putting some tags together quickly from some of the collages that we made and cut, and I wanted to kind of show you how I put these together. And one of the things that I did on these was I did some stamping on some craft fabric, and so I wanted to show you how I did that. So I have my stamping block here, and the kit that I'm using on the one I'm going to show you right now is from Paper Roses, and that's a photo mylar, and it's paper roses, and it's just Christmas ornaments, 4x6-inch stamp set. So I am going to pull out this one here because I wanted to make another one of those, and this is the one I'll show you how I did that with. Find the top of the package. I never can find the package tops. There we go. Oh yes, I remember I cut it off. Okay, and I'm going to use this one, which is hanging Christmas ornaments. Always save your little backing so that you can save your, it gives you a place to keep your things. Now there are some fancy storage systems available out there, which might be easier to open than that was, but nonetheless. So I'm going to put this on my stamp block, and we're going to stamp this onto this fabric right here. I just find my stamping turns out a lot crisper and clear. First, make sure there's no thread on there from the fabric, but when I do it this way, instead of stamping my stamp down into the ink pad, it just comes out clearer, and I don't end up with as much mess on the edges there. And I'm using Stays-On ink. It's a permanent ink that will not smear when I do apply some other media that I'm going to be applying. So I'm just going to go, I think I'm going to try to get a little closer to the edge here, because I don't think I necessarily need this entire scrap piece. All right, and I like to press. Now I have one of those, and see, it didn't come out very clear. I have one of those, what's the word for it? They are, it's a mint stamper thing, and it works really well. This would never have happened in that. So what I'm going to do is come in here and just draw the ornaments with a black pen. And the lines. Kind of replace what didn't come down. And perfection is not my goal, because this is going to go onto some vintage looking type things. Alrighty. All right, so I drew those. Now we're going to do some painting. In the painting I'm doing, these are brushes that are just water-based paint. So, and I'm just going to paint inside. So they're pens with brushes on the tips. And then I just like to work my way around the circle. And just paint and fill it in. And like I said, I don't want it to look perfect, because my goal, it just wouldn't be the look that I was looking for if I did it perfect. So let's do another red one down here as well. Red's so Christmassy. Now, if you have any of these in metallic, and some of mine are in metallic and others aren't, I think those look really nice, even on these vintage ones. Are you guys able to see? I think so. All right, now let's do green one. Now I do have some metallic ones. I just really did not think they showed up that well on video. So my other one does have some that I painted for what I'm about to show you, did have some metallic aspects to it. And we're gonna use metallic on the little metal pieces at the top where you put your Christmas hooks. So, all right. And then this little bulb here, totally realize that you guys can't see that. Let's see if I can do a better job here. But they're just circular. Okay, now let me get out some metal, metallic. This isn't really a gold, it's more of a bronzy colored, but we're gonna make it work, right? All right, so let's just paint. That one almost looks like the top of it's a pumpkin stem. Okay, so now that one, and then I would just cut it so that you didn't end up with too much fabric that you had to try to fit on to a tag or something. And you can cut this with pinking shears, however you want to do it. I like mine to kind of end up looking a little raggedy, but so I don't really care anything about the pinking shears because I'm probably gonna fray it a little bit anyway. Let me get ready. Okay, and so that's how I did it. And I like to print words, just statements. I'll show you some of them. This one just says, "Wishing you Christmas cheer and magical moments that last all year." This one just says, "Let your heart be light." And then for this project today, I also painted some that just say joy. I mean, stamped some. And then I painted some others with the dangling Christmas balls. They're a little bit more ornate, but smaller in size. Okay, so now I'm going to show you some, and I kind of, before we got on film, I kind of worked on the designs just a little bit. So, I think I need all of that stuff here with me, by the way. I'm kind of let me see which one I want to start with, because I've got them all kind of sitting here. Oh, for some reason, I'm kind of really attracted to this particular one. I'd like to make sure we get it fit in on here. And this is one of the Tim Holtz paper dolls. They're just vintage pictures. You can buy them. He actually even has a special Christmas pack out. But I've got so many of the various ones that I just decided not to get the Christmas pack. And if you recall in our collage video, I'll just show you how I did. I did one of the collages. I stenciled on kind of shabby chic kind of a styling, those snowflakes. And then I cut it down into pieces to make journaling cards and tags and different things. So basically we're going to make a tag out of this. That's the wrong button, wrong one. And I have this hole punch that kind of makes this interesting shape. So we are going to punch a hole with that. And I don't know if you can see that or not. It's long. Okay. Now, my design that I kind of had on there for her. So let's go ahead and start, because I'm going to be inking. glasses. Because the point of this, to me, is to make it look like aged wallpaper. And that's my goal. Now, a lot of people don't like the stark white on the back. And remember, this stuff that I use to make the snowflakes, that is called gesso. I've heard other people pronounce it gesso. This is all recycled paper that's underneath here. To me, that's fine. That's part of what you do in junk journaling. So, but anyway, but I am going, and you can kind of see it there. But like I say, it's part of the journey. But I am going to go ahead and put a little ink around the edge so that it's not quite so stark. Now, if I had wanted to, there's another ink that's called tea dye. And so it's kind of like an instant tea dye color. I'm gonna give her just a little bit of ink to get rid of some of these sharp, I can see some of the paper core or something there, so don't like the edges of it too much. So I just wanna, okay, now let's decide exactly. I kind of had it how I liked it, just with a little bit of torn gold doily right there. She's so pretty. And then I'm going to put up here the one, Let Your Heart Be Light. I want to make sure it looks good before I glue it down. And then I've got 3 of these little flowers. These are some of the flowers. I didn't make these on camera. They're made from a punch with the little bit of Stickler's. So I had 2 sizes of flower punch. And then in the center is a little bit of the Stickler's glitter glue. And that's kind of makes it look more Christmassy as well. So I'm going to put one here. One a little bit further out over here. And then one just kind of down in here a little bit. So I think that's how she's going to be. I think I'm going to pull her down just a little bit so that that word is not covered up. And then I've got some, when I get ready to put them in the book, I'll decide what kind of ribbon or whatever I want to put through that little top part there. So let's get out our art glitter glue and go from there. And I'm going to see if I have enough glue in my little detailed bottle. Let's see if we do. And let's take her off because she'll kind of be on the top. And let's first put down our little doily. Just kind of put it with your little needle glue thing here. You don't have to have this. A lot of people seem to do fine without it. But for me, my gluing comes out much neater with these tiny detail bottles. Now, I found these. My sister was with me. I can't remember if it was at Hobby Lobby or at Michael's. Had to be Hobby Lobby. Yeah, because I think that's the only place we've really gone to at the same time. So we're going to stick that down there. And then I'm going to take a little bit of my fabric glue. And apply that just right here. Not too heavy-handed because it does leave a mark. Oops. Okay. And then next, let's put our pin back on the top of our glue. This glue's like 18 bucks a bottle. Don't want it right now. Okay, now we're going to use our... Fabri-Tac is one of the glues. They'll have the Fabri-Tac or the Fabri-Tec, which as far as I can tell, they're the exact same thing. Up at Joann's. That is something to watch for to go on sale there and to use your coupons if you're going to continue with paper crafting. Because to order that off of Amazon It's just too expensive. And the stuff on Amazon doesn't go on sale, so not very often. I realize we're going to be having Black Friday and all that soon, but all right, now let's apply her down. She looks like she's wearing a prom dress or something. It's so pretty. Kind of dab at some of that glue. Okay, now let's put the flowers on. And you know, if you have old family photos, just print them on just a paper that's a little bit heavier. And you'll have your own paper dolls of people that you know. I think his sets of paper dolls run somewhere, you know, around $4 or $5. And then for a whole bag of them. There's a lot of them in there. But the thing about them is everybody has them because everybody loves them. I love using them, but I will also admit that everybody has the same ones, kind of. So I'm kind of in the process of collecting photos so that I can come up with some more individualized paper dolls, because I really enjoy the concept of using them. Okay, so there's one of the tags done for my journal. So I think you're starting to kind of see some of the way that I'm kind of planning on styling this particular journal. I'm planning on making several Christmas journals. So, but the particular one I'm working on now is going to kind of be there. Now, let's grab another one. Now, when I design my tags and all that, I try to put at least 3 things on. But in the case of this little lady, I really liked her on the tag. But I could not come up with 3 things. And I finally decided that my collage that's in the background is 3 things. So I decided to just leave it like that. So let me punch my hole, because this one will be... And you can use a round hole punch. There's a European style punch that's kind of a big hole punch. Since that's going to be a minute, let me put my lid on there. All right, now let's put some Fabri-Tac on the back of here. Like I say, you don't want to put tons of it. It's a very, very strong glue. What I kind of have a tendency to do, it also clumps up when the weather starts to change outside. There's certain glues, and I don't know the chemical reason behind it, but the weather really starts to affect them. All right, so now let's put our, because I was trying to put words on there, and I didn't like any of the words. And I finally decided sometimes simplicity is enough. And if I see something I want to do with it later, add to it, or do something like that to it, I can always add to it later. Now, I do want to ink this up a little bit. And this particular ink I'm using is called Vintage Photo. And it's supposed to make photos, it's a sepia color, or I think that's how you pronounce it, is what it is. And it's supposed to make the photos that you put on any kind of paper just look aged, especially photos. All right. Let's see here. I sure hope that some of you are doing this and will post some of your ideas that you come up with. I just think that's one of the things we're here for, is the sharing of ideas. Now, always on these things, be sure you're getting around the edge, because this cardstock that this is printed on is rather heavy. See, it doesn't look like there's enough there, but on the other token, anything I tried to add to it just seemed to take away from her in herself. So I just finally decided to leave it. And it also could be that by the time I put, because the ribbon that I'm planning to put in there is eyelash yarn, at least in some of these. I don't know, we're gonna see. And the other one I'm planning on using are just some of these scraps. Matter of fact, let's put one of those in there with her, because I think that would be perfect for this one. And I usually go from the back. I put my, whatever I'm gonna use for my tag pull through my hole, and then I just loop it, make a loop, and I pull it through. Now sometimes I staple them on. There are different ways that I like for them to look. But in particular, I think that's perfect for that one, actually. I think that fits better than the... So there's the one, two of them so far. Okay. Now here are these two little ladies. And I've kind of got this put down like I want it to be. And they're sitting on a bench, and they also needed to have their arms propped up. So I needed to provide a bench. So I have a piece of the scrap fabric there. And you can see they're in a sitting position. So let's put our scrap fabric down first. You guys can see. Still haven't, I don't know how long it's going to take me to get used to doing this where I cannot see what is showing up on this camera. Let's see here. Okay, there's our bench. Now, let's remember for now to put this in here. We need to put, where we were gonna put this, kind of over here. Yeah. May have to stop and refill my little needle, my little detail glue here. So I'm telling you, we can really tell fall is coming here. It's, went outside for our first walk with my puppy this morning, and it was, whenever I say fog, I don't say fog, I say froggy. And it was so froggy. I kind of was surprised. Okay, now we're gonna ink these gals up. They're wearing their winter coats. That was one of the reasons I chose them. Now this is not one of the ones with the snowflakes. This is just the one that I put the, and then, like I say, this is the Ranger. This is actually the Tim Holtz Distress inks, and I love these inks. Let's see. There are other brands of inks though, so you would just try whatever one that in your particular case you really liked and go from there. And anyway, I'm having to wear my jacket, and a sweater underneath that jacket in the morning to stay warm. I think if it weren't for the wind, wouldn't be any kind of a big deal. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to use my big container here in a second and just try to be more careful. I should have refilled this before I started. But our pieces are big enough here. I think it'll be all right. Almost got these two ladies covered. Yeah, this little thing is running out. All right, we had enough for them. Now, let's get them on their bench. This one really needs some words up there, I think. Now, that actually kind of needs to be behind her. I am going to try to slip that underneath there. Let's see how successful I am before my glue gets too dry. This glue is rather forgiving, but yet at the same token, one of the qualities about it that you really like is that it dries really pretty quick. All right, there we go. She's got her arm leaning on that Christmas ornament. Because you notice they're sitting on a bench and she's got her arm out. Now I want to see if I've got room for some words. Let's see here. Okay. Let's see here. Cut this down. Here we go. Okay, there's another one. Their arms leaning on the Christmas, giant Christmas ball. Okay, I think I forgot to ink the back on that one. We'll go back and do that. Trim that. Okay. Let's see here. This one's kind of cool. It's remnant from fabric, and the fabric is called fa la 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 la. Now I'm going to put this one in a little differently. And then I'm going to tie it at the top. And I just don't have that many of them, so I don't want to waste them. It takes a longer piece to do the... Okay, so there's that one. Now, I've got this one, and I thought I would show you a little, just another quick little painting technique on the, it's the same technique actually. Just thought I would go ahead and color this little Christmas tree in. Let's see, some little green Christmas balls. Kind of alternate them. And some red ones. Alrighty. All right, now this is one of the, put my lid on because even though that's empty, I don't want that top being all glued. Okay, and this is one of the ones, not with, you know, that, as I said, not with the snowflakes on it, but one of the other ones. And we're gonna get this all inked up really well so I don't forget to do it again. Now, I'm not going to be punching a hole in this one because you can see the shape of it's different. It's something that I'm going to be using as what I call a journaling card. And even though the tags are for that too, but it's basically a writing space in the journal, like a little hidden writing space. Okay. Looks like some of my ink bled through there. Okay. Just remember how it was, because I don't want all of that music to be covered. And then we had the words Merry Christmas up here, and then we had the little tree down there. Yeah. Alrighty. And let's get her inked up a little bit too. Now, not everybody uses the ink. As a matter of fact, some people just don't like it at all. Other people use like 10 times more than I do. So you'll have to decide what you think in the long run. I love using it. I like the way it makes it look. But I've done some of the projects, because if you go on some of the junk journal groups, they do projects, challenges, and couple of them were just to make your things look really grungy by using a lot of ink. And I had always thought I already was using a lot of ink. So I was kind of surprised to find out that I wasn't. Now remember, all of these inks that I am using dry clear, okay? So if a little bit of it gets out, it's not going to hurt anything. You still, though, I know some people have the more is better attitude when it comes to their glues. I haven't had that kind of an experience with it. For me, the glue is sticky and it can take it months to cure. So let's see here. She's so cute. The other thing that I've kind of learned the hard way, And that happened on the journal I made for my sister, where we kind of went on a sister trip to Japan. And is mixing different types of things don't always work out like you think. And what I mean by that is I found out oil paints. And I had some paint pens that I didn't even know were oil paints. And for some reason, some of the artwork I did in her book just ended up really sticky. And I talked to several people since then, and they said that it was probably the oil paint mixing with some of the sealer that I put on top, and that I needed to pick out a different kind of sealer. So I'm going to try to figure out what sealer I need for that journal, and I'm going to borrow it overnight or go over to her house and do it and try to fix that up. So this is the journal card, and it'll just be in a pocket or in a little tuck area somewhere. And for somebody or myself, whoever ends up with the journal, to write on. Now this next one is definitely one for a little tuck. And you can see that how little tiny the little girls, the paper dolls are that are in it. Okay, so as I get it done, I'll hold it up. It's one of the cute ones with the snowflake. I love working with these paper dolls. That's why I really want to get some of my own set up so that... Now this is one thing to point out with anything that's die cut. If you look at this, there's a little piece of the die cut left. There's supposed to be a little hole there. Alrighty. Oh, see, now I got a little carried away with the ink around her face. I think it'll be all right. All right, let's see if I can wipe, actually. Oh yeah, wiped it off. Okay. All right, now let's gluing time in the city. I'm thinking I need to put all of this on before I put the girls on there, though. Let's see here. Yeah, that needs to go under there, I guess, because I don't want to cover up the words. It says, "Merry Christmas, my dear." Yeah, that's how it'll go. All right. So the first thing down is the piece of doily. And I'm just using the metallic doily because it's Christmas. Yeah. And to me, one of the things I always loved about Christmas was the shiny, glitzy Christmas things on the tree. And, okay. And I know it seems silly putting these plugs in every time and then taking it out every time. But if you've not done that and seen what it can do to your glues, and like I say, these glues have just gotten really expensive. All right now. And once we start putting my journal together, you'll see exactly the types of things. Now you can do all kinds of things with these little tucks or clusters. And this one really isn't quite really a traditional cluster. Sometime I'll show you guys what they mean. There's a lot of thing called clusters. And then people even have their own names for things, so. All right. And that may end up with something over in here. I actually did not want to cover up that snowflake. I should have moved them over that way a little bit. And here's another one. And I don't know why I decided that Joy should be in this little boy's got this grim face. But it's just because during that time in history, they weren't supposed to smile when they had their picture made. So you can see how it's something like that. I have my little card. I had painted this and then stamped this word joy. And then there's this little guy, and his bench is going to be this ticket. Christmas exhibition now open. Okay. Sorry every once in a while I pull out of the camera because I'm just not, like I say, this is taking some getting used to. All right, now yeah, that's good. All right. It's the gluing time. Been getting prepared. I'm going to be doing some traveling in my RV and selling off all of my things because I'm planning on being gone for a couple of years. You know, I'll be here a lot actually, so I shouldn't say gone. A lot of my traveling I'm going to do the first year or so anyway in Texas. I mean, what better? You need to see your home state as well, you know. But I'm going to also be following the weather. But anyway, and really looking forward to that. I'm selling off so much stuff. And people come and make an agreement when they're talking to you. And then they come and they haven't even seen the item. So it's not that they've decided it's an inferior item. They just try to talk you down once they arrive. I haven't gone for any of it. I just say, no, I don't think so. I think I need to do a little bit more inking around the outside of that. Once we get this on, we'll worry about that. Now, because these paints that you put, that I painted these Christmas decorations are water-based paints, I was pretty concerned about that. And I'm wondering if that bleed through on that other card had to do with that. But this glue that I'm using to put the fabric down is not water-based, it's acetone-based, so I don't know. But this picture seems all right, so. Joy. We've got the joy, 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 joy down in our hearts. All right, he's done, and he's another journaling card. Oh, I need to do some inking. He's another journaling card. So let's do some inking. I like to get some of my ephemera ready ahead of time before I'm actually doing my pages or my signatures in the journal. It just, I'm more apt to use it. And it doesn't leave me kind of scurrying around trying to figure out what I'm going to do. Now, you don't ever end up using all of it that you made. At least I don't. And then while I'm making the journal, I say, you know, I think I would like to have something a little different than that. And that happens to me pretty frequently. But then I just use it somewhere else, you know. So we've only got a couple of these left to go. Now this one is like a group of kids. And basically I'm making their bench, this strip of collage that I did. And they're on the background of collage anyway. So it's going to be a rather simple one. And it just says, let your heart be light, is all it says on that. So that's going to be a really simple journaling card. And it's a big journaling card, too. I see I got way too much glue there. I have to deal with that. Okay. Yeah, let's try to do a better job with that glue this time. There's a group of kids every morning. They meet down underneath my kitchen window to catch their bus. This one, I don't know why. I don't think it really needs any. Ink on the kids for some reason. But I need to move them over a little bit as far as my ink sets. All right, now just the so guys, I'm running out of time now. I'm gonna put this word on top of these kids, and that's gonna be all of them I'm gonna work on tonight, at least on camera. And we'll be back at the next video where I want to show you one other type of collage that may interest you for Christmas. From a design element, it may just, I started thinking maybe we should have done that journal first, but so I thought, let me do that next, and so that we'll have that. So there's that one done, and it's rather simple, but it's got a pretty good sized group of kids on there. So we completed a fair amount. Let's look at them real quickly. The children, another one with the children. I'm gonna call this one the girls. I like the children ones a lot. So that little girl there. And then those two ladies, picked them out because they had on a winter coat. And then this one, I need to decide what type of tie I'm going to put in her. I really love her. I've used her paper doll before. And then this nice looking young lady here. They're all pretty young. And so those are the tags that we completed tonight from our collage. And love you guys, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.